Hey everybody, welcome back to Flipper Flicks. I'm Adam, and we have another fireside chat today. It's going to be real fun, so I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Tim so we can get started as quick as possible.
I'm Tim, and we have social media. We'll throw it off with we're here, we're good to go. Fireside chat, as he said, but we have Instagram and Twitter. If you guys want to follow us there, it's Flipper Flicks. We have all sorts of posts that you can follow, see what we're doing, tag along, give us recommendations. And speaking of recommendations, we also have a website, flipperflix.com. That's another good place to go there and give us a what have you, what you think we should see, or what else is going on. We post our episodes every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to be right on the money, that's when it'll be there. And we usually are on Anchor, Spotify, and Apple. Probably a few others. If we're not on your favorite, let us know, and we'll try to get on there.
Cool. Well, I'm Sam, and I feel like the elephant in the room is out. We have fireside chat today. We have the filmmakers for a short film called Trust. So Diane Lansing is going to be on, Renee Dorian's going to be on, as well as Cassandra Coppola is going to be on. And they're going to talk about their experience making the film Trust, but we do have a synopsis for you. So, a moment in time set in Italy during World War II when a young Jewish girl is questioned by a Nazi lieutenant who wiles her with chocolate and outdoor play, then tries to trick her into revealing her family's true identities by switching languages to expose her family as Jewish. So that's a synopsis straight from their website. If you guys want to learn more about the film, it's currently trying to get on the festival run. So definitely stick posted to their website for any updates of what film festivals they've been accepted to, as well as where you can see it. But the website's going to be www.thefilm-trust.com. And you can see all about the team and what their previous work has been, as well as listen to our episode for the experiences they had making this film. And we're really excited to bring them on, so give us a listen.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Flipper Flicks. We're lucky to have some more guests today, and we would love for them to introduce themselves for their film Trust.
Hi, I'm Diane Lansing, the writer-director on the film Trust.
And I am Cassandra Coppola, and I was the producer, one of two producers on Trust.
Well, it's great to have you both here, and then we might get to have a third face join us, even though we're not on video. I'm gonna still say face. Yeah, kind of. How did this whole project get started? How did have you guys worked together before, or is this we met through film festivals and all this sort of stuff?
Well, I first met Renee through a women film site on email, and it was just one of those instantaneous. She said she was looking for a project, and I said, I'm thinking about doing a project, and sent her the script, and she immediately fell in love with it and said, I want to do this. And because she's really into women empowerment and things like that, and she felt like this was good for young women to see a young woman being brave and having to fight for herself, in a life that we don't even want to think about having now, but yes, in fact, we might be. But so, and then Cassandra you've worked with Renee, right?
Before we worked on the Warner Brothers lot together. That's how we got to know each other.
Okay, great. And as soon as I met Cassandra, it was love at first sight. So, no brainer.
Oh, Diane, you're wonderful.
Yeah. So what type of project? Sorry, I'm going to hop in to ask another question before I let you guys talk. What sort of projects have you guys worked on outside of this one? Just to kind of give everybody a quick background on both of you.
Well, I've mostly been writing. I have made a few short films. Mostly they were guerrilla style, where we absconded a park and, and just took it over and said, get your dogs off of here. We're
trying to shoot a film here. Can you guys shift out of the shot just like by 5 feet? That's all I'm asking.
But I'll say this one. I have I'm trying to. Jim Cummings is a director that I follow on Instagram, and he said, if you're going, and I love him, and he said, if you're going to do something, if you're going to make a short film, if you're going to make a film, get the best of everything you can. And that's what I tried to do with this short. I mean, the others were more learning experiences because I didn't go to film school. Okay. So I just learned by the seat of my pants that way, but it was a really good schooling. It was, I made a lot of mistakes, but they were small enough mistakes that I could just say, okay, well, I learned something there, and it didn't. But this one, I didn't want to make any mistakes. Not that we didn't, but, I hired and found the best people to work with down the line from pre to post, Now,
are you talking about Jim Cummings? Like he did The Wolf of Snow Hollow? Jim Cummings?
Yes.
We actually did that movie last year.
You did?
Yeah, well, we did a review of it on our,
one
of our episodes.
We watched it and did our silly review is what he meant.
Yeah,
we're
not professional. This is the most professional as we get.
He's so amazing. Thunder Road is like one of my all-time favorite indie movies.
We'll have to check that one out. And then how about you, Cassandra?
So, well, I went to school for journalism for my bachelor's, and to be honest, that was kind of a no-go. Wasn't interested at the end of it, but broadcast brought me to film. So then I went to Syracuse University for television, radio, and film. And then I immediately moved to LA. Thank you very much. It was pretty hard. So I moved to LA. And I immediately actually started working in film festivals at New Filmmakers Los Angeles. And whilst I was doing that, most of it, I will be honest, was independent films, independent shorts. I did a couple music videos and a couple features. And I did help on a couple lots for different events and different shows. So all over the place, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And I have to say, as most indie filmmakers, we wear many hats. And Cassandra also AD'd, and she was unbelievably good at it. It was like, I just
Please
felt
stop.
as soon as she was standing next to me saying what's next, I was like, I felt calmed down. You know what I mean? Because I thought, okay, we're in good hands here. And that's a big thing. That's a big thing during a shoot.
Well, Diane, it's easy to be a good AD when you have a great director. So that's on you.
Well, speaking of directing and writing, I guess, Diane, this is obviously based on a true story. And we were kind of curious on how you met your friend the story is based on. And then were they involved at all? At any point in the process, writing, whatever, just anything.
Well, my friend Inga, I've known her and her husband for 28 years, and they both have passed away since we made this film. But Inga they wrote their stories, and I read one little piece of one, and that I'm like one of those, I like small moments in time. So they wanted me to do their whole story. And I said, that's not what I'm interested in doing. I'm interested in, there's this one moment that just resonated with me. And I kind of took that moment and ran with it and made it my own. But it was still influenced by her experience. I changed the setting. I changed a lot of things. That's why I'm saying more that it's inspired and based on rather than, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what happened also was the family started getting nervous. I do not know why. I cannot explain it to you, but I can't use their names. I had to really pull back from that family. So that's where we're at. It's unfortunate, but it didn't change my film. It didn't change it. Thank God.
And I see that Renee joined us. So hi, Renee. How are you doing?
Hello.
Hey, Renee.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi, everyone. How's it going?
Going well.
Really, really good.
Yay.
Awesome.
So we were just talking a little about ourselves. So you can talk about yourself, Renee, right now.
Oh boy, I
Perfect.
didn't even get to hear about anybody else. I'm just jumping right in.
Yeah, you just gotta dive right in.
Oh my gosh.
Full autobiography.
Full auto. Oh my God. Okay. Can you guys be here for 37 years? I'm just kidding. Yeah. Hi, I'm Renee. I go by Renee Dorian in the industry just because that's my maiden name and I'm too lazy to change everything over to my married name.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I get that. Well, I
Yeah.
don't get that. Sam gets that.
Yeah, it's a lot of work actually. And I'm so lazy that I haven't even changed it on my Southwest card. So there you go. Now you guys know a little bit about me. No, I'm the producer. I'm one of the producers on Trust. And I've been in the industry for a very long time. I'm an actor first and foremost. I am a writer. I've co-written some projects, one with my husband and a couple more actually that we're working on. And then I've kind of tapped into producing as a way to just keep creating and collaborate with others. And I really have enjoyed it. It's definitely kind of put your limits to the test when you put the producer hat on. So it's really interesting to kind of first start in the industry, it's just an actor, and then go into the writing and then going into the production side. I think honestly, everyone who is in the industry should do that at some point, regardless if they want to stay in that, just so they can kind of see the other side and how it works, because it really helps, I think, as an artist. So yeah, that's me.
I agree.
Well, thanks for joining us. We're getting into a little bit about the writing, and I believe we have one more question around that, Diane. So you said that you were very taken by like certain moments, right? And one particular moment in this story. So I guess like, is that similar to a lot of the screenplays that you write, or was this different in any way than any of your other screenplays?
Well, it's the beauty of short form. See, I think short form is an art form. I adore it. I think it's really kind of perfect in a lot of ways. And so for short form, I think if you can tell an entire story in 13 minutes, 14 minutes, it's pretty brilliant. You know what I mean? To be able to really do that. And I think that instead of trying to do too much, finding a moment in time, which I know I keep saying, but I kind of love that idea, that I think it really works well with this format. My screenplays are coming of age in many different ages, if that makes sense. I have some teens, I have some in their 30s, and it's all about I think for my screenplays, discovering oneself and overcoming being an outsider. I do some outsider type things.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Did you have any like working titles outside of Trust? Was it always Trust? Like for this film in particular? Like, I don't know how. I never know about this part.
Right from the beginning. Right from right from the beginning. That was it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty spot on then. 'Cause that's definitely. I was just thinking about that. I don't know, the film itself, you just feel that, right? Like the title itself does fit very well. But I had a question about, and this is for anyone, but how difficult was it for like the costuming? I mean, I couldn't imagine that's necessarily readily available.
We have a story for the costuming. So yeah, the costumes definitely, budget wise, we had to make some things work because that, we really wanted to pull off the authenticity of the film. And we had an amazing costume designer.
Yes.
Zoe Battles is her name. And she rocked it. And when she went to like the wardrobe houses to look at, what would fit with these characters, she would send us photos, and Diane knew pretty much right away, what she wanted. Obviously, of course, this, Nazi lieutenant and soldier, we really had to find the correct garments for that. But the dress, Diane, do you want to tell the story? Do you remember?
No, go ahead.
Do you remember what happened, or did Cassandra and I kind of like not have you see what happened during filming? So it's one of those things that happen, of course, on set. As a producer, you're like, the wardrobe stylist or costume designer, I always say wardrobe stylist, but Zoe comes up and she's like, okay, so we have an issue. So, it's very authentic. The dress was very authentic that our lead is wearing. And it's so authentic that it's like paper thin. It's like construction. It's like construction paper at this point because it's been pressed so many times and it completely rips up front. So we're like, yeah, okay, how do we make this work? We don't have any other option.
She is a tiny girl too. She is such a tiny girl. It was like crazy that it popped. You know what I mean? We're like, what?
Yeah. Oh, it had absolutely, exactly. Thank you, Cassandra, for even saying that, because it has absolutely nothing to do with her. It has everything to do with the dress and how old it was. And it just ripped. And so luckily, I think we had only just gotten a few shots off in the morning. And Zoe had this great sweater where she changed the buttons. That's all she had to do was take off the buttons and replace them. So they looked old. It looked like an old weathered sweater. And that's why she's wearing that in the entire film.
Okay.
Would never have gotten
Clever.
that.
Okay.
I would never have gotten that.
And the funny
clever.
part of that is I can't tell you how many compliments I've gotten on that sweater. It's the funniest thing.
It looks super legit.
Right? Zoe should show up in one of the screenings in the sweater.
Oh my.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So it is very true to the film, and it is very old. The costume pieces were very old, and our costume designer did an amazing job finding them.
Yeah, she's awesome. She was great. She was so on top of it that, and very creative. I had ideas, but she refined my ideas, which is, I think, how you collaborate the best, if you allow the person that you're working with to take it to where they need to take it for themselves as artists.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, switching gears a little bit. So we wanted to talk about the music, because at certain points it feels like, it gets very tense. And I feel like the music definitely layers onto that. Like when they're in the park and he keeps switching between, English and German to try to trip her up. I feel like the music really plays up at that part. So do you guys want to talk a little bit about like how you selected the music and what that process was like?
I was looking, Cassandra came up with the idea that wouldn't it be cool if we found a Jewish composer? And I loved that idea. I said, because the emotion will be in there. And boy, did that turn out to be true. I had a friend that works for a company he knew of Ronan Landa, who's a composer who's also Jewish, whose family went through, I think it's on a YouTube somewhere, the whole interview we did with Ronan. But I think he's brilliant. I think the music is, in fact, when I first heard the music, I said, damn, Ronan, the music's better than my film. But no, I don't mean that it's better, but it sure did uplift it. It took it to another level that I was so pleased with. But he had background, his family had background in the Holocaust. So he did have a very emotional take to the film and was generous. And he had the Budapest Orchestra play. So that was cool.
I did catch that in the credits and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what happened was we got piggybacked on another. We would have had to pay a lot more than we did. But Ronan got us piggybacked on the back of another shoot where they were paying a lot of money for the orchestra. So they had like an hour or so where they could give it to us. And so we kind of piggybacked on there. And so we were able to do it. I don't know how easy that would have been if we hadn't have been piggybacked on, so to speak.
Nice.
Yeah, it was exciting.
He was amazing. The composer, Ronan, was so great. Just everything, like adding the strings and just all these little nuances that he added to, like, just that Diane and I were like, what? Like, okay, yeah, go for it.
Oh, I love it. I love the music so much.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely stunning.
It fit very well. And music plays such an important role in film. It gets kind of I feel like forgotten about sometimes, and it just can make it seem so much more tense.
Mm-hmm.
And like Sam was
Yeah.
saying,
Oh my gosh, watching the movie before we had like our sound design and
Mhm.
music, we were just like, oh, and then I mean it was great. Don't get me wrong, it was great. But I mean, it just adds so much more. You just I don't even know how to describe it. I just remember the first time we watched it with the music and sound, we were just like, oh my gosh, it's a film.
There's so much more importance to music and who you're hiring based on your film than people realize, because everybody else just lives, what is it, bensound.com? All right, let's go to Ben Sound and buy a 99-cent song. All right,
I didn't
guys,
even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
it was a thing. And so that's why having a Jewish composer, that's in my mind the right thing to do. That's why we did it, because
Yeah.
that is the right thing to do. And he was absolutely brilliant. And as somebody who knows music theory and all that stuff, he kicked my A, you know, that was absolutely stunning.
Hey, Renee, you should tell them about the day of the shoot, the election day.
Oh gosh, I should tell them.
Yeah, she's putting it on you.
I know it is on me all of a sudden. Of course. Well, we filmed in West Hollywood. We got this amazing location. We got this apartment that was Jim Morrison's last U.S. residence.
Mhm.
Oh.
And it was in WeHo. You know, it wasn't the cheapest apartment, but again, we really, with the budget we had, we really wanted it to be authentic, and it took place in Italy. So we're like, okay, how do we do this? So we found this location, very interesting owner. I'll just say that. Very specific on like when you can arrive and all this. So we had like, everyone was waiting by the door till the gate opened, and we were like hustling to get in. It's dark. It's very early in the morning. We're setting up. We basically have this empty apartment. And again, our art department, oh my gosh, amazing. Alessia,
Nailed it.
she was fantastic.
Alicia.
Thank
Mhm.
you. And she just like immediately hops in. She has an assistant, and they just hustle to get the apartment ready in record time, because we have a very limited time to film there, right? One day is all we have from sunup to sundown. And now that's the stress we think we have. We're like, okay, we have to get it all in. Oh no. This is election day, or it's after election day. It's the day we find out who's president. Okay.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
it goes in favor of Joe Biden. Great. Not so great. There's a huge parade that decides to happen on Santa Monica Boulevard.
Oh man.
While we're filming
Naturally. Yeah.
this
Oh my.
intense World War II drama, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this is great. How the hell are we going to do this? All you hear is cheering and horns and people yelling. And I'm like, maybe we can use it. Like, you know, the horns and I don't know, just somehow make it work. And thank God for sound design. This guy was brilliant. I feel like if you really listen, you may hear the tiniest, faintest hint of horns, but you would never know that there was a giant parade in our backyard.
Yep.
I
I
mean-
can't say I did.
Oh, yeah, not at all.
We were buzzing. Our ears were buzzing when we got home. It was like unbelievable.
Yeah.
It did not stop the entire shoot.
It was fantastic in a way, though.
It
It was history.
It
and we
was
were, you know,
history.
It was so intense just because anytime we walked outside to take a break, you know, the people going by, but we couldn't help but be happy, you know? So even though
That
we're
is
like
true.
kind of
It is
screwing
true.
our sound up hard, we want to party with you. You know what I
I
mean?
know. Our poor sound lady too. She's just like kept shaking her head, just like, oh God, this is just like
This is
right
gonna
in
be
my
so much
ear.
work in post.
Yes.
So much. Yeah, we thought we were gonna have to ADR the whole thing, and that's how brilliant our sound design team was. Is that we didn't have to do that. So
Yeah.
that was another. I mean, this short film, from the moment we began pre-production, has so much history to it in just the few years that we've been working on it. It's crazy.
Well, the pandemic.
Yeah, pandemic.
That was only a small part of it, right?
Right, just a small part of it, and then the death that this is based on a true event.
Yeah.
So possibly the person that it's possibly based on, is all I'll say, may have passed away during it. So there's a lot of things that have happened during this. I had a baby. Cassandra got married.
Lots of life events.
Yeah, a lot of events happening. So that's, I think, what I love about the experience of movie making is there's so much magic and there's so many things that are involved in the little things that happen while you're creating this.
Yeah.
That, like, when you think back to it, you're just like, oh my God, like we achieved all of that with this film. So
Sung Rock Choi, the sound designer, oh my God, he was a miracle worker, truly.
Oh my gosh. Diane, tell him what it was like to sit behind him while he was doing that.
Well,
he was sweating so much.
It was the hottest little studio you've ever been in. There was no air. Or what? He worked his butt off though. He teaches sound design at USC, so he's very good at what he does. But he's also super generous. And when he finished everything, I went for the final listen, and I stood up and was thanking him, and he goes, he just looked at me, and goes, "Make more movies."
That's awesome.
And I went, okay.
That's got to be encouraging, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It was lovely. It really was.
Yeah. And so I'm going to try and kind of pivot from the crew, but how was like the casting process like, and getting your actors and actresses all together?
Fun.
It really was. I love the casting. It's really remarkable. Renee and Cassandra had a little more experience even than I did. So it was like we worked good as a team. But the Greg, who played the lieutenant, what was cool about that was we had a few actors come in and they looked the part so much that was like, oh my God. And then they couldn't act. And then there was a couple really good actors, but they didn't really look it, Yeah. And then all of a sudden, when Greg walked in, I looked at my producers and I was like, oh my God, because he was so perfect.
He was scary when he walked in.
Too perfect. He could act. It was like, oh my God.
It's a win-win.
And he was speaking in German, and we were like, is he really speaking in German? What is he saying?
It was beautiful. He was so fluent in it. We were like, did you just come from the heavens? Where did you come from?
Yeah, it was. I get goosebumps just thinking about it. That's how it was.
The process was. That's always been my favorite part. Whether I'm, of course, as an actor, it's probably my least favorite in ways. You're like, can I get it?
A little nerve-wracking, I suppose.
It's a little nerve-wracking. It's stressful because then you're like, well, why didn't I hear from them on that? But Diane was awesome in the way that, like, we still reached out to actors if they were, in consideration and they didn't book it. We still reached out and told them like how fabulous they were. You don't get that, regardless of it, if it's a short film, commercial, voiceover, whatever it is, people don't take time to say, hey, thanks for coming. I appreciate you. You were awesome. It just was down to this. And our casting director, Neely, was amazing. Like, that girl's mind just goes a mile a minute. And she's like, here, I have this idea. Oh, how about this person? Oh, what about that? And during the casting sessions, she just, I don't know, she brought some really great people to the room that I think didn't we do only one full casting session and then we had callbacks?
Yes.
Yeah, so we only had
it was a big day. It was a whole day, it was not
a whole day. It was a whole day, but I think it was just one day. And like,
then
Diane,
remember what happened with our Lena. We had someone cast that we really liked, and she went really well with Abigail, which is one of the reasons we chose her. And Emily Bader, who ended up doing the role, when that other girl bowed out, I was able to call Emily, and I think it really helped that I had left a message with her saying, we loved you. We just cast it different, with the mom. So when I went back to say, we loved you, and guess what? can you do it? You know, and she
Yeah.
ended up, she was a joy. That all of the actors, Renee's husband, Ben, you know, he kept saying, oh, it's not. One of my favorite parts of the movie is at the very end when Lieutenant Dietrich walks down the stairs. Ben gives him a look like, you fucked up. Oh, I guess I shouldn't say that.
Oh no, you can't.
No,
We normally mark our stuff explicit.
But it's one of those looks that every time I see it, I smile because it's so good. And yet there's like that, you know, that whole thing of there's no small parts. It's really true, you know?
Absolutely. And Abigail was our mom, and she was incredible. From the moment she walked in the door, we really felt her as the mother. And so when we kind of put the cast all together, we were just like, oh, wow, these are like fabulous actors. We have a great team here and just so professional. They were so excited to be a part of this that even during the pandemic, we did like a table read through Zoom. We just wanted to keep people together because we had just had our sessions right before the world shut down. So it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, we're going to make this movie in a month. And then we're like, oh no, we're going to not do anything for a long time. So we kept everybody together, and we had Abigail and Emily work with a dialect coach just so they could feel more confident while we were kind of waiting to find out when we could begin filming. And I will say that was definitely one of the stress, you know, yes, we had a parade going, but to have to add a COVID officer on a set of a short film, you're like, well, there goes some of our budget that we could have used for this and this. Even though our COVID officer was awesome, it's just, it's the added things that you didn't even have to think about. And no one was vaccinated at the time. That wasn't a thing yet, right? Because we filmed in November. And so no one was vaccinated yet. And we were just like, okay, we're going to play it really safe. And you know what? As far as I know, no one got COVID on our set. And if they did, no one told us. So we made this beautiful piece with fabulous actors while we were still figuring out the way of the world, the new world.
I don't recommend directing with a mask on.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, we got so hot.
Oh yeah.
And I'm Italian, so I sweat regardless. So, I mean, I was shitting all over the place. It was not nice. It was not nice.
Yeah, Sam and I are down in South Carolina.
Whoa.
Oh, the masks and the heat they don't play well.
Humidity. I got
you.
Well, so on that, I guess, with the whole COVID and everything, did you have any kind of like nosy onlookers? I'm not really familiar with, smaller films and whatnot and how that all works. So like when you're filming and everything, did you have people giving you weird looks because of costumes? Or was there people around like just being nosy? Is there any of that?
Oh, well,
a little bit.
I would say, yeah, for sure. Poor Greg. He was just always like, and Ben, they were like, I really don't want to leave this backyard area when we were in West Hollywood.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Not the time to like go anywhere in our wardrobe.
I promise it's for a movie.
Yes,
right.
During the parade, like, just no.
Wrong timing.
Yeah, wrong timing. So that was, we don't really get, I mean, for where we live, it's not really a big thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the costumes, yes, people are kind of like, but I would say the next day when we filmed at Franklin Canyon, which is a beautiful park, but it's, for some reason, I don't know why it's considered Beverly Hills area, because it's really not, if you think logistically where it's located, but it is. So we had, I'm being very technical. So, but
It's all great.
the people that came early in the morning to the park, they weren't giving us looks as like, what are they doing? Oh, are they they were giving us looks of disdain. Like, oh my God, you are in our park. This is where we hike. Like, we legit, I had to go up to this family and I was like, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I'm sorry. Cause I paid all this, we paid all this money to rent the park. And I'm like, hi, I'm so sorry. Can you guys please keep it down? We're trying to film, clearly. And then the girl said that this woman was just like, I don't know why you guys are here. This is our family time. Like, how much longer are you gonna film? And I was
You
like,
see,
"Oh my
Renee had to deal with this because the one time I did, I
Yep.
flipped. Because that lady was, you know what? I
Yeah.
did not give a crap. I'm not from California, baby. I'm from New York. Now you're sitting there in my way. And I kindly asked you to move about 4 times. And then she said a very rude comment to me. I called her a
Naturally.
name. And I said, if I have to come over here one more time, it's going to be pretty bad. And she moved.
Ah,
That approach seems to work in my opinion, but you know.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be aggressive, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, Cassandra had to come up to me. She's like, I swear to God, Renee, I swear to God, I can't do it. I can't go up to those people. And I was like, yeah, I can do it. I'm kind of a passive person sometimes, and not always. But
And
some-
you have, it's also that Renee has this, beautiful, bubbly voice. And I'm over here sounding like, some old jazz man. So it's nicer that Renee told them because she has a sweet voice.
Oh
I do
yeah.
not.
I don't know. They probably thought I was being patronizing or something when I Yeah, it was
We
hard.
can't win.
It was hard filming, and it wasn't even just like people looking at us because the costumes. It was really just people being like, "You're on our turf. Why are you here on a
Mhm.
Sunday?" Is what we were getting, because you
Oh,
don't get
gosh.
that in other locations. Like if we were filming in South Carolina, I'm sure people would be more interested in knowing what we're doing and
Oh,
not,
Yeah.
Hmm,
insulted that we're taking up space. I guess.
right.
but I was
How
in love with
dare.
that park. That park was a big inspiration for me. I just wouldn't give up on it. It was
Mhm.
probably our priciest thing, but I had to have it. It was
There's
just
some things
right.
you just gotta get,
Yeah. It was worth it.
Yeah.
It was so worth it
Was.
to yell at that lady. No, I'm kidding.
Amanda's favorite part, the confrontation.
Oh, shoot.
Great.
Well, I feel like you guys have talked a lot about some of your crazy stories and like the difficulties of making the film. So, I guess, was there anything that you really like felt that you lucked out on or was like super easy to do for the film?
I would say the actors for sure
Yeah.
was probably
Yeah.
the easiest, which could always be the hardest because trying to get the actors all scheduling together, that can be difficult. But again, I guess we were pretty lucky because of COVID. Everyone's schedules were pretty open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
they
in
were
a
also
way-
super generous. They were generous actors. They didn't. There was no dilettantes. They were generous.
Yeah.
And I'd say
I
everyone.
think-
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I think we've all been on different sets, okay? And usually, and again, I'm gonna be the honest one, there's always somebody who pisses me off. It happens on every damn set. On this set, and again, I'm a very honest person. I'd tell you if there was someone who pissed me off. Nobody. The collaboration was
Mhm.
so brilliant. Everybody was working together. And I think, again, I don't know if it was COVID and it was also timing. When you have a timing issue, you go, you work, and everybody knows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that it actually worked out better for us. And again, because the actors were so good, it made all of our jobs easier. And they took direction from Diane beautifully. Diane knew how to deliver, and they knew how to take it and deliver back. It was pretty brilliant, I would say.
Yeah, I was going to say the exact same thing. Was just all the crew. The crew was just so fun. They were great people, and they all, I would say like our DP Travis had a team that he works with regularly, so that is helpful. When your DP knows his gaffer and his grip and things like that, because he can just talk to him real quick and they know exactly what they're saying, and everyone was just on
Yeah.
the same page immediately.
No
So-
divas. No divas.
No.
Brilliant.
Well,
I know that Diane, you wanted to bring Travis on, but he had prior engagements.
yeah, he wanted to because he's one of those quiet but steady and sure, and we speak a lot of the same language without having to speak a lot. Like when I before I talk to anybody, I talk to him because he was who DP'd my very first short film, which again, was a big learning process. So I'm sure they were all shaking their heads at me a little bit, but he still was kind and very, very efficient and professional, and taught me a lot. And his whole crew, I was so jazzed by them because it was 5 a.m. and we're closing up.
Oh
And
gosh.
and I was like a little kid going, "Can we do that again?" And they're all looking at me like, "Oh, Diane."
Again? Really?
Oh, Diane. And yeah, but I had such a high from having done it. But his crew, they packed up so beautifully, and they, like Renee was saying, they were like a working machine together. And guess what? There were some of the same guys on the crew, and I went, "Oh, Steve." And he goes, "You remember my name?" I said, "Because you were so good. I just remember you guys working so well." So I was thrilled that Travis was able to do it, number one, and then brought that great crew with him, number two,
Yeah.
He was wonderful. I'll say, as AD, we have shot lists. Let's be honest. You go off that shot list. And what's my job? To make sure the timing is still okay. And, he came up to me, I think it was when we were at the pond area, and he goes, "Cassandra, there's a shot I have to get. Do I have time?" And I said, "Baby, we're going to make time. That's an excellent shot." So he worked really well with everybody, and I really appreciated him. He was so professional. And also, like you guys were saying, he was kind and fun, and everybody just had like amazing personalities. So it made everything else great. And Travis being so chill, if I'm being honest, was amazing for everyone.
Yeah, he's when I first got together, I let him read the script, and he really liked it. And I sat down with him and I said, "So Travis, have you seen Dunkirk?" And he goes, "5 times." And I went, "Okay." So there's some color and lighting in that I want, from that very first scene. And he knew what I was talking about. And then I said, I had been looking at lenses, and it was just really interesting to me because I didn't know a lot about lenses, but I started looking at what anamorphic, and I thought, "Oh my, that's very cool. Spherical's nice, but I like that look of the anamorphic." And next day he called me, he said, "Diane, what do you think about using an anamorphic lens?" And I was like, "Oh my God, that's so crazy." Because it wasn't, if he had asked me 3 days earlier, I would have said, "I don't know."
Yeah.
But I did.
Let me do some Googling.
But I did. And it was like, I went, "Yeah, that's that." And again, that was more expensive. But he had that little sly look in his eye, like, "Yeah, that's going to be a good one."
Sometimes too.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I had a kind of a question about the film itself being like a short film, because you talked about how you prefer doing short films, and you kind of answered one of our questions. Was this ever considered to be, a full feature or whatever? I don't know the verbiage, sorry, but is there ever like a cutoff point you have in mind for a short film? Do you prefer them, shorter or like over 10 minutes, or is there like a 15 minutes is the mark? I was just kind of curious about that.
Well, I don't prefer short films. I just like the artistry of a short film.
Sure.
I'm hoping to make a feature next, actually, with Renee acting Cassandra. Gosh, you could do anything, Cassandra. But anyhow, I want to use my actors. I've got this this feature that I really want to do. But I just think that, to what they say, the safe spot is 15 minutes. It's like 15 minutes is it's like, if you go more than that, then it's a little bit difficult for people to program. And you do want to think about that, because that's part of why you do it. You want to be seen, So I my first one, because I was naive, it was 20 minutes or something, 16, or I forget how, it was longer. And it was a little too long. And now when I look at it, I go, "Oh yeah, I could see where that could be cut way back." But it's live and learn. And there may be I have a PSA in my head that I, for some reason, have been wanting to make, and it's a minute, so I don't know. It's just all depends on the script, I guess.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And Sam and I, we've been fortunate to go to the Beaufort International Film Festival, and there are shorts of all shapes and sizes. I think we saw a short that was 45 minutes. I was like, that's not very short.
Yeah,
that being
they
said,
have those categories.
Yeah. That being said, we wanted to give you guys, your team some time to toot your own parade horns. What film festivals have you been accepted into so far?
Are we? I don't know if we can say.
Oh.
Are we? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have to
So-
get some official things, but let me
Geez,
tell you,
Adam.
it's a yay.
Oh yeah, that's good to
That's
hear.
That's good to hear.
That's a great answer.
We got 2 or 3 yays. Let's just put it that way.
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing where now we have to decide, because some of them are specific, like you can only show this here or blah blah blah. So now we're like, oh, okay. So now we have to so I don't want to say anything just in case it could come
Of
back
course.
to us.
Of course.
But yes,
Exactly.
we are we're circulating right now to different film festivals, and we have gotten some acceptance letters, which is very exciting. So now it's just kind of about us having a meeting on what we think we should do.
Yeah. Basically, you probably already know this. It's called premiere status. Now, at the film festival I worked at, they did not have premiere status because premiere status, it kind of limits you. You might love a film, but they already screened. You know what I mean? And you're like, well, I have premiere status. You got to premiere here. And while I completely understand that, especially for more higher end film festivals, like they're, another consideration we might be having, it's hard because we want to be part of all of them. You know what I mean? And
Right.
it's
Right.
premiere status is something, again, that we didn't do at my film festival, because that way we got all the content. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just depends on the film festival. But again, if there's there's more restrictions, that might mean it's a little bit more imperative to the success of your film, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, because we get like the pamphlets and everything at Biff, and we read it and we're like, oh, world premiere, oh, South Carolina premiere. We're like, that's cool. I don't know what that, like, I understand, like I literally understand that it's premiering, but I'm like, I didn't know that there were like there's this whole background part going on. It was kind of all new to us.
Well, you guys will definitely have to keep us posted when you have had your chats and you can officially make it, so that we can spread it around for
Our
people to
official
see.
announcements, absolutely.
Awesome. Okay. I guess in the next sort of question we have, so like you do the festival circuit, right, for a short film, but I guess what happens after that? Do you guys do a lot of speaking engagements? I guess what's kind of the goals and the life cycle of a short film?
Well,
It's
Sorry.
different. I mean, it depends on the film. Diane and I had a long discussion on that with this, because people have asked, like, do you want to make it into a featured film? And I think for Diane, this was more of, a piece to show what she can create in limited time, what we can all achieve in limited time. And to be a piece to hopefully like garner representation and more potential opportunities for the other materials that she already has written. I mean, I don't want to speak for you, Diane. Sorry. I feel like I'm speaking.
That's well said. No, that's exactly it. That's perfect.
So for this film in itself, I feel like it's just its own, what's the word, Cassandra? You're good with these things. Like film is its own like kind of entity, right?
Entity is exactly what I was gonna say, babe. So, yeah.
See it right there. We're on the same page. It's not, for some short films, you make it with the hopes of, okay, if we can get a bigger budget, we can make this into a feature. That was never the goal with this. We wanted to make a beautiful short piece that was based on true events that we could basically honor someone's life. That was our goal with this. And to, hopefully show the world like, hey, this is what we can do with a very small budget. Want to give us some more money? We can make a big thing.
Exactly. Well, there's the other side too, where depending on the film festival, apologize, I can't speak well sometimes. The film festival, it could be Academy qualifiers. So if you get into certain festivals and you win, and it's an Academy qualifier, I think you kind of know what that means. So you get to be a contender in the Academy Awards. And that it's not just that you want to be rewarded for your good work. Why'd you make the film? You made the film because you want people to see it, because it means something to you, and it should mean something to everyone. So to get on that status, to be, an Academy, great to win an award. Even better that more people are seeing it and learning from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
there was so much hate going on, and still is. It's like doing something that expresses someone fighting that hate and winning. I think that's, when people go, it's a Holocaust movie, I go, yeah, but it's a movie about triumph too. She won. That might the last, you don't hear that, but Emily brilliantly showed it. The last line in the film is she won. She's standing with her back to the door, hearing them walk down the stairs, knowing that she won. She did not fall for his tricks. So yeah.
And to give little girls an inspiration in a way too, as well. I have a little girl, and to see that, like, she, this girl in the movie, Emily, she's a fighter, right? And it's something to show girls that no, if someone's like bullying you, you stand your ground. So that was another piece that we thought was really important, especially at the time we were developing it. So
right.
Absolutely.
Well, with that, what's on the table for everyone next? Like, what do you guys got plans, or working together
Talking
on
about
something?
film or what else we're doing in life?
yeah, life.
Whatever, we're here to chat. Yeah.
I'm about to go have dinner.
I could give you a spiel. So right now I actually have my EMS refresher course, and I had to ask my instructor, who luckily is my cousin. I said, "Sir, I have to leave for a little bit. I am in a podcast." He said, "Absolutely." And so right now I'm sitting in the hallway of a college. That's why it's echoing so much.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's great.
I love it.
Fantastic.
Diane, go ahead.
Well, I'm writing. In fact, I had some excitement going today with all these different festivals, and I was still able to ground myself I'm working on a play, and I'm working on another screenplay, and the one that I would like to have made next is already, I don't want to ever say it's done, because I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of notes from people, but it's the one I would like to make. It's sort of like, I feel like if I throw that into the universe, okay, I want to make this next, that somehow things fall into place a little bit, and that's one of my goals in doing this networking with people at the festivals is going to be to see if maybe someone might say, "What else you got?" And I'll say, "I got some things."
Exactly. Yeah. Well, for me, my head is like spinning currently, which is a good thing. I do a lot of voiceover. I don't know if you can tell, I have kind of a little girl voice. But I'm a grown woman, I promise.
I'm a child and everything.
True.
So, right? Yes,
Oh.
I have two little ones. Yeah, one daughter and I have one son. And so I do a lot of voiceover. So I'm actually in the middle of, I do a lot of audiobooks, and I'm recording one right now. I'm working on a series that's an anime series. So I have a couple more episodes on that where I play one of the series leads. And then I am doing rewrites of a graphic novel, a children's graphic novel, and rewrites on a feature film. So, and taking care of two children. So it's a little nuts right now.
We're a bit diverse, we got a lot of different things going on. But
Yeah.
We sure do. We sure do.
You know what? I actually forgot to tell you guys, and this is a fun little podcast announcement. I'm actually working on becoming a New York State fire investigator. So
Oh, that's cool.
it's super random, but I guess this is a cool time to tell you guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So random.
I think we need a little bit of a short film on that, Cassandra, like a documentary style of like your life.
Girl, I've been planning it for years. So you got it. It's coming.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for having us.
That's so
Yeah.
great.
Fun.
Thank you.
Thank
It
you,
was-
John Alexander, for introducing us.
Mr. Alexander.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, thanks for joining. And yeah.